Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick video, a quick recipe video. One of my favorite recipes in the world is Uni Pasta. Today is actually my birthday, and so I was gonna make my favorite recipe. I ran into the city real quick, Flatiron, went to Italy, picked up some really nice uni. Hopefully you guys can get a little look at that. Come on, focus. Come on, focus. Anyway, a nice tray of East Coast Maine uni. I love this uni for pasta. It's got a really nice brininess. Holds up well in a pasta sauce. For raw preparations, the West Coast style with its sweetness and its richness is great, but I prefer the East Coast. Actually, I really prefer Hokkaido Japanese uni for pasta, but when I can't get that, this East Coast Maine uni is my preference, and it's cheaper than the West Coast, which is awesome. So save a little bit of money. The first part of this, though, before we get to that uni sauce, I'm going to make my topping. I don't put cheese on uni, but I do like a breadcrumb topping, spicy garlic and chili breadcrumb topping. I've got some of my wife's leftover potato bread. It works great for breadcrumbs. So we're just going to get a few pieces of that. I don't know, maybe 3 pieces. She'll probably be mad at me if I don't leave her enough for her sandwich for lunch. Got some of this soft potato bread. It's getting a little old anyway. We can make some breadcrumbs out of it. I'm going to take the crusts off. Don't want those because they will burn. We're going to toast everything, and the crust is already toasted, and we don't want burnt breadcrumbs. So I'm just going to cut these up into some rough pieces. They're going into the food processor. Real quick overhead video today. Like I said, it's my birthday. I wasn't really planning on making a recipe video, but I wanted to do this real quick, show you guys how I do it. It's one of my favorite recipes in the world, but it's really quick and easy and just so delicious. I'm just going to rough chop this garlic. Help the food processor out a little bit. Garlic goes in. I've got one of these Thai chilies, bird's eye chilies. I keep these frozen. I always have them on hand. It's a really great, fresh, frozen chili to have as opposed to dried chilies. They have a real kick, so I'm only going to use one. Rough chop. And we bring this in where you guys can see, hopefully. We're going to do a quick blend on this. All right. Bread is broken down into a nice crumb. Garlic is broken down into a nice crumb. Chilies are kind of where I left them. The food processor didn't get them that well, but that's okay. It'll actually not be as spicy. There'll just be some larger pieces, and I'm not even worried about it. I'm going quick today. If we were in a restaurant, I'd pull those pieces out and give them a mince, but it's not a big deal. We're going to move on to toasting these in some olive oil, and that way our topping will be done. I'll add a little salt, and then we will make our uni sauce. It's super fast and easy, and I've got some homemade pasta going, and we'll bring this all together. All right, we've got our burners set up. I got a nonstick pan here. Breadcrumbs weirdly tend to get sticky when you toast them, so I like to use a nonstick for this. Got a nice fruity Sicilian olive oil. We'll just coat the bottom of the pan real nice. Let that heat up. Having a little birthday old-fashioned here. I made this with Cooperstown bourbon. My dad sent me bourbon from Cooperstown, home of the famous Baseball Hall of Fame. I wasn't expecting much, but it turned out I really like it. They make a good bourbon there. All right, breadcrumbs going in. Nice sizzle. That's what we want. Stir it around. We want them to toast up pretty much immediately. Pulling it off the flame because I actually had enough heat in that oil to get everything going. I'll go ahead and kill it. Just let the residual heat. My cat and my dog are going at it over there. You can probably hear them. Let this residual heat toast these off the rest of the way. Chilies are toasting, garlic's toasting, smells delicious. Just break up any clumps as you go. Very nice, very nice. Let me get these onto a plate. All right, breadcrumbs toasted. I'm gonna add some salt. A couple pinches of kosher salt should do us. There's a good amount of oil in these. I want them to be unctuous. So the more oil you have, the more salt you need. That is just a fact. Fattier foods need more salt to bring out their flavor. I am tossing these with my hands because I have chef's hands, but they're still hot, so probably don't want to do that at home. Now as these cool off, they will crisp up even more, and they'll make a really beautiful, crispy, almost Parmesan-esque. I mean, it's not going to taste like Parmesan, but it's that crunchy, rich, fatty topping that you want to balance out that creamy smoothness from the uni. It's really good. I'm going to give it a taste right now. Delicious, perfect, love it. All right, let's move on to some uni sauce. All right, sauce, we've got our uni here. We have, this is called a tammy. Some people might just call this a sieve. It's a fine drum sieve. Just got it sitting in a bowl. This is how I do my uni sauce. A lot of people just add the uni right into the hot pan at the end and emulsify it in. That's fine, but you can maybe see on the camera, let me try and get this in here, that there's these like little veins that run down. You might see that little like reddish color vein that runs down. There's some veins and some membranes in the uni, and I don't want that interfering with my smooth sauce. So I pass it through my tammy before I make my sauce. It's a little extra step, but it helps. And I spent the money on some really nice uni, so why not do everything I can to make it perfect? That's what I say. Let me give this a little taste. I just want to see where we're at. Really nice, creamy, rich, sweet, but briny, that East Coast style. It's not as big as the West Coast, and it's not super sweet, but it has that really solid brininess that holds up well in a hot sauce. So I'm just going to use a little plastic scraper, and I'm going to pass this through my tammy. You'll see that there's some membranes and stuff. We're not losing anything that we want to eat. Just end up with, I guess you could call them the nastier bits left behind. See, you can barely see. I'll try and lift it up and show you on the camera in a second. Whenever you're using a tammy, make sure you scrape the bottom because everything will stick to the bottom, and you don't want to. See, that's all your product right there. You don't want to end up rinsing that down the drain. So you can see that there's just some like veins and stringy bits left over, and that's all I wanted to get rid of. Scrape that bottom one more time. And now we have just a smooth, creamy paste. It doesn't look like much, it's not a lot, but there is so much flavor here and so much thickening power in uni. You'll see, we don't cook this really, we add it right at the last second, but as soon as it heats up in the sauce, that sauce will thicken up like crazy. We'll even have to add a bunch of pasta water to thin it out so it's not too thick. One more taste. Perfect. Love it. It's going to go great with that garlic and those chilies. You'll see, I'm going to show you how I make the sauce. Basically, it's sort of like a garlic and oil sauce. I'll do some garlic and some chili and some olive oil, heat it up. I'll cook my pasta. I'll get it in there with some pasta water. We add this uni paste right at the end, and that's all there is to it. Toss it around with some pasta water. It's going to make one of the most delicious sauces you've ever eaten. All right, guys, it is pasta time. We've got our handmade taglierini. Let's get a shot of those. Just roll them out by hand, cut them with a knife, really nice. We're gonna get those into the boiling water. This is all gonna come together really fast. That's not water. The water is over here. This is the pan for our sauce. We got that heating up. Some olive oil goes in. It's kind of, I got a little garlic here. I'm just gonna hand crush it. I don't want it to be too strong. And a little Diavoletto Rosso Calabrian chili. Little devils, little red devils, that's what they're called. Thank you, Mary Rose. That was a Christmas present. That's a dried chili. Just gonna do a little bit of garlic and chili infusion. We have plenty in the breadcrumbs, so I don't wanna make it overpowering. Keep this heat a little bit low. Not looking to burn that pepper. Just get it infused. Once that pasta is done, that pasta will take about 2 minutes. And when it's done, we'll go right in with the pasta, a little bit of pasta water, and of course, our prepared uni. And that's the whole dish. Those breadcrumbs will go on top at the end. It's simple, but it is incredibly flavorful, guys. You won't believe this, how good this pasta is. That garlic is starting to brown nicely, which I like. I have no problem with lightly browned garlic, as long as it's not black. Black is bitter, but brown is good. All right. Our pasta is done. I am going to take it out with tongs because I want to get some of that starchy water. Starchy water is good. Like I said, the uni is super thickening. So once it goes in there, this is going to thicken up hard, and we're going to have to add pasta water to thin it back out, which is why I have a little ladle. Let's go in with our uni. Get all that in there. Don't waste a drop. It's expensive and it's delicious. Stir it around. Now in goes the pasta water. I'm going to kick the heat back up. Get that simmering. And we will see. Yeah, that's coming together quick. We're going to need even more water. See how that uni does its magic. Thickening up beautifully. Give it a toss. And that is about there. You just make sure it's all emulsified. I might need a little more water. Let's see. No, that looks good to me. Kill the heat. Beautifully emulsified, beautifully creamy. We don't want too much heat on that uni because we don't want to kill its fresh flavor. I hope you guys can see on this camera how this looks. Anyway, I am going to plate and we'll get hopefully a better look as I plate it up. All right, here we go. Time to plate. Looking creamy and delicious. I'm just going to use a ladle to plate this up. A little twirly is always fun. Save some for later. Beautiful. Hopefully we can get a look. Let me try and get... There we go. We can see, hopefully, how nice that pasta looks. Get the breadcrumbs on. There it is. Restaurant beautiful plate. Let's give it a taste. Sure, we break up our beautiful roll, but that's okay. That's just for looks when you set it on the table. All right. Oh my God. Unbelievably good, you guys. Unbelievably good. So briny, but sweet. That flavor of the sea It's got that sweetness that you get from like lobster or crab, but it's got the brininess that you get from something like an oyster, a bivalve, or like a clam. Just loads of complexity, everything going on. It balances beautifully with garlic and chili, and then that ultra thin hand rolled pasta that's super textured, so it really sticks to the sauce that you can only get from rolling with a rolling pin. It's a perfect dish. It's one of my favorite dishes. That's why I did it for my birthday. Thank you guys for tuning in. I just wanted to share it with you real quick. That's how I make my uni pasta.